Good morning, everybody. It's Elizabeth Smith here from the Guru Co with another Cameo coaching set for you. Today is about what or who are you blaming for where you are in your life at the moment. And it was a bit of a joke really yesterday, and it's not something new really for me personally, and I'm sure I've probably spoken about this in past Cameo sets. Good morning, whoever's there, say hi. It's lovely to have somebody with me. Thank you very much. But yes, today was brought about because on my way into the city yesterday, and I swear, all the traffic lights turned red. Okay. Now, years ago, this came up when I think I was getting very frustrated and I just started doing quite a bit of commuting. And this one particular day, I was pressed for time and all the traffic lights seemed to be red. And I had to get to this point where I was either going to burst or I had to start learning how to manage those real heightened emotional moments. So I started originally just to time the traffic lights. I now know two of the traffic lights that are notorious, that they are 1 minute and 47 seconds, the traffic lights. So I'm okay. And I time that, and believe it or not, it feels much better. But anyway, I spoke to my colleagues at work and I told my colleagues about it. And do you know, all day they were ribbing me and saying, Liz is in the red zone, Liz is in the amber zone, Liz is green, go, go, go. And although I know they found it funny, I found it funny too, but it was a really good reminder of where I was, because you get so absorbed in what you're doing that sometimes I don't think you realize where your emotions are setting or where your irritations are or where your frustrations are. And yet the biggest thing for me yesterday, and when I started looking at the traffic light issue, is all about my poor planning really, and sort of not leaving enough time to get somewhere. So I couldn't go in a nice, relaxed, hi Chloe, good morning. You couldn't get somewhere in a nice, relaxed and positive mindset. So then it took me, once I was thinking about this yesterday, and then I thought, then we got to another, and I thought, well, you know, when you're sitting there and there's a buzz in the room, and you're doing something, and maybe you're working on something or you're reading, it's this little buzz, 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 and you just tune into that buzz, and it starts getting loud, and then you think, maybe it's a wasp. Okay, danger. Maybe it's a bee. Don't mind bees. What if it's a hornet? Now we're in trouble. Now there's a hornet in the room with you. And you just get distracted. And automatically your emotions are created by your thoughts, and you get into quite a turmoil and you leave what you're doing. Now, by leaving what you're doing becomes a bigger problem at the end. And then at the end, when you don't, hi Abby, and then when you don't actually get to do and finish what you were going to do, you get frustrated and you blame the bee, you blame the wasp, you blame the red traffic lights. And so it goes on the whole time. And then when I get to that point where actually, you know, maybe, how can I put it? Maybe then you think about things like other things in your life. Maybe there's things around eating, diet. I'm a great one for blaming the diet. Maybe there's things like, okay, so you haven't done your study for today. I don't know, maybe you're at university, or, you know, you're doing a degree somewhere, or you've got other things that you're supposed to be doing, work, you know, getting on with your business. What do you blame for not getting something done? And I can guarantee you somewhere in there will be a whole list of things that are really plausible to you. But ultimately, by owning them, you start seeing the funny side of things, and then you start saying to yourself, actually, you know, come on, let's move forward, let's move around this. Did I really need to stop and do that? Did I really need to phone somebody up today? Could that not have waited? Could I not have done that a different way, rather than having an hour or two on the telephone with somebody? You know, or actually, is it an hour or two that you should be having with somebody? Morning, Hannah. So it's about owning that. Now, one of the biggest eye openers for me is the second I started thinking about things like this, it continued with my whole day, because I then left my desk to go. I had a meeting further into the city, so I went to go and book out a parking permit. There were no parking permits. Can you just imagine? Now, what really was making me cross was, why was there no parking permit for me? Well, what makes me more important than anybody else? They all had their parking permits booked out to them because they had planned in advance. I hadn't left enough time for my meeting. So off I went. But do you know what the eye-opener for me was? Is I said, so what? So I'm going around all of these thoughts in my head and blaming everybody else. So what? And that for me was my biggest aha moment yesterday, is why am I so important? Why is what I'm doing not more important? Now, I'd love you to sit there and think about that. Think about what you're doing for yourself. Think about what you're doing with your wasps, your bees, with your parking permits, with your red traffic lights. What is that doing for you for the positive? And see if you can't do something different. Turn it round. Ask yourself, so what? And get on with it. I hope you get some benefit out of this. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me. It was lovely to have somebody with me this morning. And I'll see you again. Bye-bye.